Well, welcome to the April 12th, 2015 edition of Sports on the Couch. Me and Brody, the usual suspects, are here with two guests. On our left, we have former Junior Pred All-Star Kevin Greer, and on my right, a Putnam County T-Ball Hall of Famer, Alex Love. How's it going, fellas?
Oh, thank you for having me.
Thank you.
It's great to have you both. And Kevin's awesome American flag shorts.
He's got American flag shorts on. He's being real patriotic.
TFM.
And we are also rocking 4 deep on this couch. We are knee-to-knee contact, elbow-to-elbow. My hand is about 5 inches away from Alex's junk. It's going to be a good show, fellas.
It's going to be a great show. I'm ready to get it
It's
rolling.
always the first time for everything.
Exactly. Well, that will be the first time for that. But, moving on. The Masters. Jordan Spieth shot 19 under for the entire tournament. And before I go any further, let's give our producer, Matt Mercer, a round of applause for calling that. For calling the Masters, which not last week, what was it, 2 weeks ago?
2 weeks ago, yeah.
When we tried to record one, I said was almost impossible to predict. It's really hard to predict the Masters. Usually someone random wins it. You have like your Dustin Johnsons, your Louis Oosthuizens that come out, and I hope I pronounced that right. I hope to God.
You know, my heart was in Tiger's hands, and he let me down again.
America rooted for Tiger.
They did.
Like, you can't watch the Masters this year and not have rooted for Tiger or Phil Mickelson, because Phil Mickelson made a late run today.
He sure did.
But Spieth hit some incredible shots, and he earned it. He ran away with it. Shot 19 under and almost broke Tiger's record.
He tied it.
He tied it, yeah. At 19 under.
That's
I think he shot 18 under.
Which blows my mind because, like, usually in the Masters, there's been years where 2 over wins it. You know?
Yeah.
And this year you had to almost post the course record.
And 2 over was the cut for the weekend, just to get in the weekend. And defending champion Bubba Watson shot, like, what, 4 over? He made the cut. He made the cut, but during the weekend he kind of fell off. So, Matt Mercer, when we come back next week, I will have a green jacket that I know I have at my residence that you're just gonna rock. You're gonna wear it. You're gonna wear it proud because you predicted the Masters. My pick, Charlie Hoffman, which was random.
I better be in that thumbnail for that one.
Was top. Oh yeah. Oh, it's going on Twitter. The picture's going on Twitter. It's
making a Twitter appearance.
Yeah, you're making a Twitter appearance.
Coming in strong.
You're gonna be known. But like it's a really hard thing. If we can get the audio clip of him saying that, we'll put it on here.
Yeah. We're gonna put that whole other podcast up. We just had some technical difficulties.
We had some technical difficulties, yeah.
So it's going.
But that's.
But yeah, I'll drop it in.
Drop it in there just for proof. So
just to prove it, I'll drop it in right here.
So this year, for my Masters pick, our producer Matt Mercer has conducted a random PGA golfer search, and that's going to be my pick. It's as unpredictable as it is. That is my pick to win the Masters. And my pick for this year is...
All right. I'm just going to come in. I'm going to break in here. All right?
Break in.
And we said it was going to be a random pick. We did. Because coming to me for any sports pick is going to be random because I don't follow sports enough. I'm just the sound guy. But this is what I'm going to do. Because once I pulled up this list of all these golfers, I remembered back to I actually did watch the Masters last year. And there was one that I felt like he was so close. And I wanted him to get it so bad just because he's so young. I wanted him to have it. And that's Jordan Spieth.
See? I said it.
He nailed it. He nailed it.
Slow golf clap, please.
It's another one. Can we get another one? Because I don't think that one is enough. Not even close.
Mashed potatoes for Matt Mercer.
For Matt Mercer. He did it. And just, like when Spieth got the lead on the first day, I thought in my head, I hope to God he pulls this out. So Matt Mercer.
And he played hot every single day. He broke the 36-hole course record. He broke the 54-hole course record.
I mean, he
played golf as a 21-year-old that people that have been playing the game their entire lives haven't even played.
Exactly. No one's played that well
in a long time, especially at the biggest stage in golf. Yeah.
Well, it's like the Super Bowl of golf. And you found it, didn't you?
I did. I found it.
Oh, man.
So
technology.
start over?
No, man.
Oh, no.
Keep rolling.
Yeah, we can keep going.
Super laid back around here, man.
Hey, we're
Super
super
laid back.
nonchalant, bro.
Not judgmental.
Super nonchalant on the couch.
It's real up and
Super
coming,
hot
but
on
real
the
underground.
But real underground, you know what I'm saying?
You know, we don't sell ads to corporate fucking.
But that was the Masters, and also in the NHL, the regular season is over, and the playoffs are here. And of course, we're in Nashville, so
Go
the
Preds.
Predators.
Go Preds.
That's the home team.
Preds
and
for life.
Go Preds.
winning only 6 of our last 20 games. I would say limping into the playoffs is a generous way to describe.
We lost the last 6 before the playoffs, and the only other team to do that was the Blues last year, who lost to the Blackhawks in the first round.
And guess who the Predators play this year?
Not looking too good.
The Blackhawks. As Jim Rome would say, coincidence? I think not. I don't think Nashville makes it out of the first round, especially if Patrick Kane comes back, where he broke his clavicle and missed every game since, February 23rd?
He's expected to come back, though.
He's probable for game 1. I got that email earlier from Sportsblog.
Nice.
Yep.
I'll be happy to see him play, but it's unfortunate as a Preds
It'll be
fan.
good. As a hockey fan, it'll be good to see
Yes.
him play, and you want the best players to play in the playoffs.
Especially somebody that produces in the playoffs like Patrick Kane.
Someone who's got that playoff resume, who's won titles. Like, it's good for TV ratings. It's just good for good hockey, you know? And as a Preds fan, not so much, because I actually think that even without Patrick Kane, the Blackhawks are so deep and so loaded.
And the Preds are just
They just have bad matchup. After they've all just over the past few years have had bad matchup problems with the Blackhawks, and we'll see what they can do.
Hey, my fingers are gonna be crossed, man. I hope it happens. I hope we shock the world and make a run. But in the first playoff matchup, we have Ducks and Jets. Fellas, who you got? Kevin, you're the hockey pro here. You go first.
Well, I'm just gonna have to go with the Ducks. You know, they've been killing it all season.
Had the best regular season in the Western Conference, in a loaded Western Conference.
Ever since this new playoff format's come in, the Ducks have been number one, one of the number 1 seeds both years. So it's hard to go against them, at least in the
And the
opening
pickup
round.
of Ryan Kessler with playoff experience in Vancouver is really just going to help them out that much more. Got more offense.
And
more
that's a thing
firepower.
where they struggled in the past. They've had great regular season years, but they haven't been able to stretch and make great playoff runs because they haven't had. Like they didn't go very far last year, did they?
No, they lost in the second round, I believe.
Round, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's right.
And none of the guys on their team were on the championship team.
No, all those guys are gone.
Yeah. Well, Solani was the last one.
Yeah.
So playoff experience for this Anaheim team is very minimal.
I mean, kudos to the Jets. They had, a good late. I mean, if anybody would have asked us,
The artist formerly known as the Atlanta Thrashers.
if anybody would have asked us if the Jets were going to make the playoffs at the All-Star break, none of us would have said yes.
Hell
They
no.
were just-
They were
no
flirting
way.
with 100 points. They were.
They killed it,
it's
but
impressive.
unfortunately, they're playing the team that I'm picking to move out of the West and
Oh,
in the
right,
finals. So
right.
Spoiler alert.
I'm just
But-
gonna have to go with the Ducks.
I got Ducks in 5.
We have consensus.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm cool with Ducks in 5.
Agreed.
I agree with that. I think the
Winnipeg may be able to
I
steal
think
one
the
at
Jets
home.
will squeak one out, maybe.
Especially with that home crowd. They're going to have a home ice advantage because
This will be
that
the-
crowd is hockey nuts.
Say what you will
This
about
will be the-
Winnipeg, but they love their hockey
This will be
team.
the first playoff game since they left Winnipeg.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
really, what the hell else are you going to do with Winnipeg? Second matchup. Personally, the one I'm actually kind of really looking forward to, under the radar, Canucks, Flames. Now, there's a Canadian connection here. Vancouver, Calgary. The coaches hate each other. America hates John Tortorella. And this was the game, was it last year? Where at the...
all-out line brawl from the
Yeah.
opening whistle.
Opening
It'll be
whistle.
Interesting. It'll be
Opening
very
drop.
interesting.
Everybody on the ice fought. The coaches were about to tussle. Like, this is going to be a physical series, and
It's gonna be fun to watch.
I like the Flames to pull it off in 7.
I don't know.
I like the Canucks mainly because the
Sedin
Flames'
twins.
big producer all season is a rookie, and I just don't know how a rookie's going to produce in the playoffs.
There's only so
All right,
much.
how about this, guys? We'll get Alex's response when we come back because we're having some major grounding issues with this mic, and I don't want to sit here and hold it like this for the whole time.
Okay.
Ah, very nice.
So
Okay.
we'll be right back with Sports on the Couch.
All right,
well,
yes, I just don't think that Calgary can make it out. It may be the first round, maybe they get lucky. Vancouver's definitely at an off year compared to their Stanley Cup or Western Conference Finals win year a few years ago. But I just don't think Johnny Gaudreau as a rookie or Mark Giordano can carry that team that far. Jonas Hiller's been okay. He's been for playing for Calgary since he's left Anaheim. He's done well. I'll give him that. He's done well.
I think he'll be the X factor.
And if he plays well, they have a chance to make it close. Maybe take it to Game 7 or I just don't see it. I see Vancouver's just too much experience. I mean, they lost Ryan Kessler to the Ducks. That helps them. But the Sedin twins and Alexander Burrows and
all their defensive core has been there.
Yeah,
they're each other for a while. They know.
And I don't see them. I see this as the winner of this series loses in the next round anyway because they would be playing the Ducks more than likely.
Ducks are
so
a freaking buzzsaw.
But we'll see. Of course, it'll be interesting.
Picking Calgary for me is just more. It's a gut feeling. Like I just feel like they've got a lot of good momentum going. They've been hot going into the playoffs. I like what they're doing. It's always good to not do what the Predators do, and instead of limp into the playoffs, roll into the playoffs.
We're just taking shots now.
Yeah, it's unfortunate and it's a disappointment. But speaking of that division, the Blues and the Wild. The next first rounder. Alex, I know how you feel about the Blues. As a Blues fan,
always
give us your take.
Well, the Blues have had a good year, and since the Preds started so hot, I wasn't too high on, what we were going to do this year. Being in the same division as, let's see, four of the division teams are in the playoffs. 4 of the 8, so...
Half your division's in the playoffs.
Exactly, and we made it out. We're the number 1 seed, and it feels good. But the Wild aren't going to lay down. I know that.
What's your prediction?
I say the Blues handle it. They've had good success versus Minnesota this year. So I think Oshie, Backus, especially Tarasenko having just the breakout year. Really solidifying him as maybe a superstar. Who knows? One day. So I see them handling the Wild in 5, maybe 6.
I got Blues in 6. I think Minnesota will squeeze 1 or 2 out because
Minnesota is that team that no longer has a superstar. I mean, they have Parise and Koivu, but they're aged. They're getting up there, and they just somehow have found ways to make ways in the playoffs. And who knows?
Parise and Koivu are experienced, and that's why they're going to give St. Louis a little bit of a run. So, and it's not like St. Louis has the best playoff history.
They don't, but to me, I'm
not saying they're losing it by any means. I think it's going to be a lot closer than
they've choked a lot in the past few years. But what I see different this year is they've had 3 goalies that have had really good years. Mm-hmm. Brian Elliott's had a really good year. I mean, the Marty Brodeur thing was a joke. We'll all
that was an awkward send off for.
That was
the second best goaltender to ever play this game. Sorry, Patrick Wall, but
they just have they have the chops, in my opinion, and that's an unbiased opinion. They've been consistent. They've been consistent all year. They haven't fallen too far behind when the Blackhawks were on top, or when the Preds have mostly been on top the entire year. So they've been playing with the best. Hopefully, they can beat the best in the playoffs. That's all I'm gonna say.
Barry Melrose, what do you got?
I mean, I agree that the Blues will move on. I think, though, it'll take a little more than 6 games. I think it'll take 7. Just because the Wild is a team that I think a lot of people underlook. They work harder than, most teams I've seen. They don't have any problem playing on the road and winning on the road. They also have great leadership on the blue line with Ryan Suter. They have the tools it takes to be able to be a successful team in the playoffs. But they're facing a very, very, very hot Blues team.
And also,
same thing with Anaheim.
If I'm not mistaken, Minnesota swept Nashville, so they might be the kryptonite of the Nashville. We might see Minnesota make their way into the Western Conference Finals. Who knows?
Now, I'm like 95% set on St. Louis moving on. But before we move on to Nashville, Chicago, if Minnesota steals one of the first two in St. Louis, it's gonna go 7. Mm-hmm. It's gonna be a series.
I think this will be one of the funnest series to watch.
Mm-hmm. And it's gonna hinge on whether Minnesota can win on the road, and if St. Louis can win on the road too.
Well, as long as it doesn't end up like the Sharks and the Kings last year, and the Blues get a 3-0 lead and then lose 4 straight, I think we'll see the Blues in the next round.
It'll be interesting.
I think Chicago showed us how to play with St. Louis, and if you play them physical,
that's true.
Then it's gonna be a good series that'll go 7 games, 7 hard-fought games, and if it goes 7 games, it's anybody's series.
The Blues have gotten a little more physical. Ryan Reeves has come out recently. He's had a better year than last year, and Shattenkirk and Pietrangelo, typical year, just killing it on the defensive line. So we'll see. We'll see.
It all rests on Vlad's shoulders.
Agreed. He's the scorer. He is.
Their
success lies in his hands.
A blueprint to beating this Blues team. But all right, that was bad. Okay, Nashville, Chicago. Nashville's got home ice. Chicago's gonna have Patrick Kane. What's the difference maker in who wins? Who comes out alive?
Patrick Kane needs to be the Patrick Kane of the playoffs we've seen in the past few years. He is virtually unstoppable. He's been proven to be, in such a young kid too. His first Stanley Cup at age 20. And the Preds,
we are.
The Preds do not have the momentum. I mean, the Blackhawks have been pretty stalemate themselves over the past, last 20, 25 games.
Right.
Lost some bad ones. Not looked like the playoff Preds as usual, but. That's probably the most evenly matched series, in my opinion, of this first round in the West. It's going to go close. I would not be surprised in the least bit if it went 7.
I got Blackhawks in 6, just because the Predators are limping into the playoffs.
I would take the Blackhawks in 7 as confidently as I could say any series going 7.
That's fair enough. Kevin?
I'd say Nashville in 7. I just can't go against Nashville.
Hey, understandable.
Hey, I like that.
Here's the weird part about the Nashville team is right now their biggest problem is defense and goaltending, which has always been a solid thing in Nashville for the past years.
It's always been the stalemate of this Nashville team. It's been their strength.
They're being able to score goals, but they can't keep a lead.
They cannot keep a lead, and I don't think that's necessarily the defense's fault, because Roman Josi has really come out of nowhere, honestly, this year. Him and Shea Weber,
the best scoring defenseman in the league.
Him and Shea Weber. You got Shea Weber, the big hitter, the enforcer, and you got Roman Josi, who's shown he can score. So Philip Forsberg had one of the best first halves of a season rookies ever had.
Yeah. If you like offensive hockey, you like goals, watch every game of this series.
Mike Ribeiro hasn't scored less than
50
points in any season, full season in a career, and he fell into Nashville's lap, and he's really played well. I'm gonna have to say,
arguably one of the most underrated and underappreciated players in the NHL as well. You don't really hear much about him, but he's been very, very consistent, and he produces.
He's been stuck on bad teams. I mean, where did he came from? Dallas, yeah, where
Phoenix.
Dallas and Phoenix. I mean, what can you say?
And it'll be interesting to see if Patrick Kane will be able to bounce back, and if he'll have the nerves of getting hit again, because having an injury where you have to have surgery and sit out a while always rests on an athlete's shoulders. You never know how they're going to come back and play. And I just think that, if Patrick Kane has a series like he is capable of producing, then it's going to be Blackhawks all the way. But I got to go with my boys. Got to go with the Preds.
I like it. Now moving on to the Eastern Conference. 1 seed Canadiens against the wild card Ottawa Senators. Fellas?
I'm going to take the Canadiens, and I'm going to go ahead and say it now. The Canadiens are my Stanley Cup pick.
Ooh.
I think Carey Price has been the best goaltender this year, and
I can agree with that.
they've honestly been one of the most consistent teams all year. The East, has been really rough the past few years. They don't have the talent, people have said, to match up with the West, but the Rangers have had just an amazing season, and both of these 1 seeds, could hang with either of the 1 seeds in the West, in my opinion. And Ottawa's had this Hammond kid is out of his mind. Hamburglar.
The
Hamburglar.
The mask.
22, like 22-0-3 or some crazy number.
And it's steamrolled them into the playoffs.
Oh yeah,
they have a lot of momentum.
They might have lost. Jason Spezza lost really good leadership, but hey, man, they might be able to hang with these Canadians. Don't count them out.
I definitely think they can, but
they could push that to 6-7 easily, in my opinion.
Canadians in 6.
Senators have momentum, but Carey Price all the way.
Carey
Price has
hottest goaltender
under a 2 goals against average, and he's played the majority of their games. That's absurd.
Him and Pecorino have been the quote unquote best goaltenders all year, and
what wins in the playoffs?
Definitely goaltending.
Great goaltending.
Jonathan Quick.
I was just something eerily similar to seeing a Jonathan Quick
2 out of the last 3
like run.
Corey Crawford in their championship years
played out of his mind as well.
Got the Rangers to the Stanley Cup Finals last year.
Yeah, he did. And
I think this is their year to finally make that jump. You know, they're
there
in the Eastern Conference Finals. They're in the playoffs every year. This is the year they make that jump.
I could see the Eastern Conference Finals being the exact same, like Rangers and Canadians. Like both the number 1 seeds could be easily be. So, but I'm gonna take the Canadians.
Canadians,
definitely.
how many?
I'm gonna go 6.
Okay,
I'll give Ottawa a few games, but if Max Pacioretty's healthy and Subban does what he does, it's gonna be hard. Carey Price plays like he plays. It's gonna be hard.
So we got Canadians in 6. I also agree Canadians in 6. Kevin, who wins? How many games?
Canadians in 5.
Canadians in 5. Okay.
Not giving Ottawa that love, huh?
No.
Now, this is the matchup, the one matchup in the entire playoffs that I am torn between. Lightning, Red Wings.
If any upset, and upset being a lower seed beating the higher seed, this is the one it's going to be. The Lightning have made great steps forward since last year when they got embarrassingly swept by the Canadians, where the Canadians had 2 weeks before they even played another game. They closed them out like it was nothing.
Yeah.
And, Tampa Bay's also had a good year, but Detroit has just so much experience and just... They had momentum, too. They were not that hot, They've been adjusting to this Eastern Conference, and they weren't that hot, beginning of the year, but they're getting hot at the right time. Tampa Bay's also hot, but I just think Detroit's going to pull this one off in 7 games.
7? This one's
It's gonna be
definitely
close.
I think it definitely goes the distance. And it's so tough. But home ice advantage. I gotta go Tampa. It's a coin toss, and you can't go wrong with picking either of these teams. But I got Tampa in 7, and I think this is the most likely series of all that we're having in the first round to go all 7 games.
Definitely.
I think the weak point is going to be goaltending for the Lightning.
Yeah, Ben Bishop. Ben Bishop's good.
X Factor.
He's good.
He's no Jimmy Howard, but he's good.
No Jimmy Howard. Jimmy Howard plays for the U.S. team. He's played in big games. And, with the likes of Zetterberg and Cronwall and Datsuk, there's just so much experience down the line and leadership with, Zetterberg and Datsuk have played with some of the greatest leaders that this sport has ever seen. Mm-hmm. And so they know when it comes time for playoffs, how to play, how to get a team ready. I'm going with Detroit in 7.
Arguably the best coach in the National Hockey League.
Oh, yes.
Mike Babcock he's a wizard.
He's going to have his team ready to play.
He's a wizard. And, Detroit has good young talent. I mean, Thomas Tatar can really score the puck. And I just think, as long as they can avoid skates to the face, they should be fine.
That's the only thing keeping them from taking it home. Next one, a very intriguing first round matchup. Rangers, Penguins.
Rangers handle the Penguins.
Handle
as in 5 games. 5 games.
Wow. Okay.
Sidney Crosby, the best player in the game. I don't think we're going to get any argues. Anybody arguing that? No. Best player in the game, Malkin, the best 1-2 punch. I mean, you got 2 of the best centers in the league on the same team, 2 different lines. They can score from everywhere, but the Rangers have been, honestly, the most consistent team. And Henrik's back, and, he's ready to party.
Right, yeah.
Rick Nash, McDonough, they're all ready.
The Penguins, they've got this stacked lineup and this stacked roster with some of the best players in the league. But they've been so disappointing this year. Mm-hmm. I mean, of course, Sidney Crosby missed some time with the mumps.
And they've been disappointing in the playoffs the past couple
of
seasons.
Definitely. Since they won in 2009, they not impressive. They're not even intimidating in the playoffs.
No.
I like Rangers in 6.
Rangers. I'm going to say Rangers 5.
I can't see a Sidney Crosby team lose a playoff series in 5. I can't see them winning one.
At all? Or not, at least
not
this
against
year.
the Rangers.
Yeah. They should have, it was a hard division for them, and, they not necessarily lucky to get that wild card, but they could have been a lot worse off. Like, they were in a bad spot not too long ago. A lot of games back, and they clawed their way back. I mean, look at this surge that Columbus had coming last year. You never know what could have happened.
That's true. Kevin, Rangers pins.
I'm gonna say the Rangers sweep.
Sweep.
Wow. We're going for a clean sweep here.
We haven't had any sweep.
I haven't been impressed at all with how the Penguins have played. They still have Crosby, but as far as the whole league is gone, nobody's produced that well at all.
Sidney
Crosby's not winning the Art Ross this year.
No, and shout out to Jamie Benn for that.
And shout out to the Mumps for taking Sidney Crosby out of the league for a couple weeks.
He's still the player that is exciting to watch and can do anything on the ice and help his team really win. But with how bad the Penguins have been this year, and how good the Rangers have been, I see the Rangers are going to just dominate this series and dominate the Penguins.
3-0 for the panel for the Rangers on this one.
Wow, yeah. One's a sway. It's a bold strategy, Cotton, but it can happen. And the last first round preview, Capitals Islanders.
This is going to be an underrated series here. This is going to be a good one. I don't trust John Tavares as a leader to win this. The Washington's been there before. They're always in the playoffs. They don't necessarily win. They're not a very they don't go very far. But it's all going to depend on if John Tavares can score and if Yaroslav Halak is good. Otherwise, they don't have a chance in the world. I think Varlamov is, Bobrovsky.
Bobrovsky's in Columbus.
No, Varlamov. Yeah. Varlamov has played well, and
wrong Russian.
Wrong Russians. You got leadership everywhere. You got Mike Green. You got, the addition of Curtis Glencross. You never know. I just think that the Capitals are just way more well-rounded than the Islanders, and I just think they're going to win this one probably in 6. I'll give the Islanders some credit, but 6 games.
Now, prepare for what I'm about to say and the proclamation I'm about to make. As good as the Capitals are this year, and as good as they've looked, as well as they've played, historically, with the group of guys they've had, cough, cough, Alex Ovechkin, they might be one of the worst playoff teams in the history of the NHL.
Definitely one of the most
No one drops the ball in the playoffs like the Washington Capitals. I mean, they've had years they won the President's Trophy and lose to an 8 seed. I love Ovechkin. I love watching him play. I like the Capitals. But like I said, they don't win once the regular season is over. They are a good regular season team, terrible playoff team. Like what I used to think of, the early 2000s Mavericks. Classic. In the NBA.
Classic.
They would win 50, 60 games in the regular season and don't go anywhere in the playoffs. And the Islanders are not a pushover either. John Tavares, All-Star Game MVP, has really been one of the most emerging young stars.
Oh, no doubt.
In the league. And I have Islanders. I don't like doing sweeps. Sweeps are hard to predict unless it's just a mammoth mismatch. I got the Islanders in 5. I think they take them in 5.
Okay.
Mostly due to the part of the Capitals' awful track record in the playoffs. And I just love Tavares. I have a hockey man crush on John Tavares.
Not to mention, Barry Trotz is the coach of Washington, and he's not fared very well in the playoffs.
Yeah, it's like a match made in heaven. A team that doesn't play well in the playoffs, and a coach who has not coached very well.
I think this is different. I think the Capitals pull it off. I'm not saying they're going to get past the winner of the Rangers or the Penguins, but they're going to pull this one off.
Right. Kevin?
I'm going Islanders in 5 as well.
Okay.
I
You
really
agree with
like-
the premise that the Capitals just
are awful and
shit the bed in the playoffs. We can bleep that out. Yeah.
and
No bleeps, dude. You're on the couch.
You're on the couch.
And,
yeah. Shit.
I will tell you this though. When you guys go do all these predictions, whenever I'm editing, I write them all down.
Good. Good.
So I can hold you to them.
We gotta hold ourselves to them.
What I'm gonna start doing, and I did it with the Masters because you both called somebody else for the Masters.
Charlie Hoffman.
Right. R.I.P.
Yeah. Hey, I got close. He was hitting like I think he shot 9 under.
I just knew Spieth wanted it that bad. He had to.
As close as he got last year to Bubba Watson. Yeah.
No, I remember us sitting on our couch at the house and being like, "Who this Spieth kid?" That was when he came out. It was like, man, this kid from Texas is 20-year-old at the time.
Yeah, but what I was gonna say is we start starting the podcast, and at the beginning I'll just tell you all the things that you were wrong about. From the previous.
And then just roast
like Tony
us.
Reale.
Set us ablaze.
Would have been great if we were here last week because we would have had y'all didn't get to react.
I would have guessed
Kentucky.
We're getting ready to go into that soon. So I've got a soliloquy in store for that one. But Kevin, first round of the NHL playoffs.
I just like John Tavares over Alexander Ovechkin. I think he produces more. I think he's
Shades of the young Sidney Crosby.
I think he makes his teammates better over than just a pure goal scorer. And
giving you a verbal retweet.
I really like John Tavares, and I really like Yaroslav Halak to just put a pounding on the good old Capitals.
And they have goaltending to match this young talent they have that can score too. So I like the Islanders.
Islanders. The fans are going to be ready. It's been a while since they've had playoff hockey to watch and cheer for.
My sleeper to win the East.
They're going to be ready to rumble, and they're just going to, I think, push the Islanders to a 5-game win.
I don't think they win the East, but they are the closest to Montreal.
You're going to have to get through Montreal and the New York Rangers, and if they do that, I will want them to win the final.
They deserve it. But
win the cup.
Before we go to a quick break, Stanley Cup predictions. Brody included. Alex, go.
I'm going to say Canadians over Ducks in 7. It's going to be an epic Stanley Cup, my friends. And
epic.
Anaheim seemed to try to put together this monster team. I mean, where do I start? Getzlaf, Perry, Kessler.
They reloaded.
Bushman, always good. They're just ready. They're ready to make a finals run, just as Montreal has, because they had their mouths watering since last year. And that was one of the best series of the playoffs. And I just think Montreal gets it done. They're ready.
All right.
As much as it hurts me that PK Subban's going to win a cup, I'm not a huge fan, but
we have similar views. I got Canadians over Blackhawks, and that one's going in 7 games. Overtime, Game 7.
Who gets
it's
the
getting
goal?
as close as it gets.
Who gets
Subban.
the goal?
The guy who's been their man all year long in the last couple years. Like I said, this year they get over the hump. Carey Price wins it on goaltending, and Carey Price has been the most consistent goaltender. Pecorino has been the best at times, but Price has been this good all year long. So I can't pick against Montreal.
Okay, so I've just been sitting here in silence.
Brody, you're here.
Because I know I probably know more about underwater basket weaving than I do about hockey. But I'm going to give a shout out to Emilio Estevez and my childhood and go with the Anaheim Mighty Ducks.
Yes. Okay.
Hey, this is the year that they would be the mightiest.
That was what I was going to say too, because I don't know shit about hockey. But when
that's a good pick.
Alex put somebody over the Ducks. I'm like, how can you do that?
How can you go against the Ducks?
Yeah, the flying V never fails in the clutch time, So I'm going to Anaheim.
Going to Anaheim. All right. We have 2 for Anaheim to win the West. 1 having Anaheim win it all. Duck, yeah, says Brody. Kevin, the hockey or sports on the couch hockey analyst.
Go. Ready, set, go.
This is your forte. Who you got?
Blues over Rangers.
Whoa.
Hey, I have this thing lately.
Actually,
about.
No.
No, that's what it is. That's what's going on.
I was just messing
April
with Alex,
Fools.
but
Hey, man.
I'm cool with that.
I have record.
I'm cool with that. But in reality, if I was putting money down, I would put the Ducks over the Canadians.
Yeah, it's
And so
Ducks.
Hey,
I like your finals matchup.
you know.
Just saying, in reality.
in reality, yeah,
It would.
Blues.
It
but
hurts
I
my
really
heart.
don't want them to win.
It hurts my heart not to pick the Blues, but I have this new thing where I'm not picking teams that I want to win, because then they have a better shot. Just like this year, I picked Duke to win my bracket. At least 4 out of the last 5 years, I always want them to win. I always pick them to win. But, I didn't this year. I picked Arizona, and, Duke won. So maybe if I don't pick the Blues, they'll do better. So
I like your thought process.
Go Canadians.
All right, Mercer, you're 1 for 1 on major sporting events in the last week. You are the Masters Pick'em champion. Who you got?
Oh, I don't know, man. I don't even know the teams. Give me a. I don't know.
You got Rangers, Jets, Canucks, Flames, Blues, Wild, Predators, Blackhawks, Islanders, Capitals, Penguins, Rangers, Red Wings, Lightning, Senators.
This is all the teams that are
Canadians.
in it.
These are all of them in it.
Okay, Nashville till I die, man. Predators.
Okay, I
Go
like
Preds.
it.
Dude,
Go Preds,
They
baby.
pull it off. You know what? We're gonna use my luck from Spieth. We're gonna roll.
We're going to
it in.
use your Jordan Spieth luck, and Nashville's going to win the Stanley Cup,
Sir,
and
sir.
we are going to do sports on a flaming couch in downtown
I'm
Nashville.
gonna take
This
the
is
Sports
gonna be
Podcast
on the
podcast
internet.
to the fucking Stanley Cup in Nashville.
Mercer,
In Nashville.
if you call this, I will kiss you, because I hope that happens.
Dude, I'm golden right now.
I'm
Yeah,
naming my
that
children
happens.
after you.
This
if
is going to be
Nashville
on the
wins
internet.
this.
If you win,
I'm
if
one
the
for one.
Nashville Predators win the Stanley Cup, I will buy you 5 Little Caesars pizzas
That's $25 on
At
you.
the same time,
at your disposal.
okay,
At your disposal. You
that's
just,
more like.
I will
That's better.
personally drive one to you.
I'm
Probably
just saying, we've all had a Little Caesars pizza in the fridge for a little too long.
always.
We know
everyone.
what happened.
It doesn't have to be in there
It's,
that
it's
long.
not pretty.
It doesn't. It doesn't have to be in there that
The
long.
microwave can only do so much.
It can get pretty nasty. But I agree with you on that one.
This
But
podcast is brought to you by our sponsor, Little Caesars.
you're over here talking shit about Little Caesars Pizza. But yeah,
I would do the shit out of a Little Caesars if they paid us.
Hey, what's up? Here's the guy on the couch, and we just want to let you know.
you know, I'll torn because it tastes ass awful when cold.
You know what sits on the coffee table in front of the couch every time we record? A piping hot Little Caesars pizza.
It's
I'd
piping
be-
hot for about 48 seconds. It's made of literally rubber.
And then I'd be damned if it gets cold. But
Play-Doh and grade D pepperoni spread across a vast
No,
plain
sorry.
of dough.
My
Sorry.
testimonial could be a Little Caesars pizza literally almost made me shit my pants today.
today,
So you can eat one
I
tomorrow.
got that,
You can eat
I got
one.
that $5 lunch combo, and it's like it's a drink in a half a deep dish for like $5. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
I got one that had been sitting out for a while, clearly, because it's like 11 to 2 that they do it, and I got it at like 1:45.
Oh, yeah.
And it did not end well for my
So-
digestive system.
At the discretion of the buyer, beware.
exactly.
So
Well,
we're going to a break. What do we do?
yeah, we're gonna go to a quick break,
We go
and when we get back, I'm going to do my soliloquy on Wisconsin getting past Kentucky. They didn't win it all, but they did what some thought was the unthinkable. According to ESPN, it was the unthinkable. So when we get back, we'll go over the Final Four, and we will talk NBA, and move on from there. And welcome back to Sports on the Couch. And now is the moment I have been looking forward to since the NCAA tournament started in mid-March. Wait for it. Undefeated Kentucky, in their illustrious pursuit of perfection, have fallen short by 2 games, as predicted by myself and my partner in crime, Brody Whittaker. We both said on our last podcast that we both had Wisconsin beating Kentucky. On the day of that game, every single one, this is not an understatement, every single analyst on Fox Sports, ESPN, and every other major radio outlet picked Kentucky. People gave Wisconsin a chance, but not that much of a chance. Okay, a little backstory here. This is what made this victory a little sweeter for me. I work in a public school system, and I was working with a guy who asked me, "Hey man, who you got winning this weekend? The big games." And I said, "Well man, dude, I got Wisconsin and Duke.
Bro.
I think, bro, homie, amigo, muchacho.
Rotato.
I got Wisconsin and I got Duke. I think Wisconsin is a lot like the Notre Dame team in terms of being great on offense, but they're bigger and they can rebound with them. And they're so good shooting the ball, they're going to stretch Cauley-Stein away from the basket, and he's not going to block shots. Towns won't block shots, and they're not going to affect the game. Nigel Hayes and Kaminsky and Decker will keep Cauley-Stein from dunking the hell out of the ball and keep him from scoring. First minute of the game, Kentucky scores 5 straight points, and Cauley-Stein gets an alley-oop dunk, which were his only 2 points of the game. Wisconsin made him shoot the ball outside of 2 feet, and he could not score. He was a non-factor. Towns was a factor, but he wasn't dominating. And Wisconsin made Kentucky beat them from the outside. Kentucky didn't do it. And Wisconsin, as me and Brody both said, would move on past Kentucky and were the only team that could beat Kentucky. Now, I don't want to hear all this BS about, Nigel Hayes didn't get the last shot off. That is a shot clock violation. It's obvious. Blah. Trey Lyles he bitch slapped Josh Gosser in the face. Now, I can understand getting the Nigel Hayes call wrong, because you can't review it. Heat of the moment. It's a gut feeling. Do you think he got the shot off in time or no? If you can't look at it, it's a somewhat understandable mistake. Trey Lyles threw a slap on Josh Gosser's grill. They looked at it, saw it, obvious, clear as day. Nope, no foul. Nothing. No harm, no foul here. I think it should have been a flagrant 1. But they looked at it.
Typical NCAA loves.
Typical NCAA.
Kentucky.
Yeah. And they looked at it. No slap. He didn't slap him hard enough. People complain about Christian Laettner stomping on Timberlake in the 92 Elite 8 game. They didn't have the luxury of looking back at it. These guys looked at the replay, saw Trey Lyles throw a combo slap, and said, nope, nothing to see here. But all of that aside, the officiating was bad both ways. Don't get me wrong, NCAA officiating has been bad all year. But this was obviously a good example, but it doesn't matter. Officials don't win games, teams win games, and good teams overcome adversity on bad calls to win games. Wisconsin's not a good team. They're a great team, and I've said that all year long. They were the hottest team coming into the tournament, along with Kentucky, and they showed it, and Duke as well. They're probably the 3 hottest teams going into the tournament, and it proved, in the end. And however, Brody gets the last laugh. I picked Wisconsin to run the table and win it all. Brody had Duke and Wisconsin in the final,
and bragging rights for the next year at least. Won the group bracket, so all you guys can get over it and stop crying.
Right.
Sorry I had to do it to you.
Hey,
I was over it in the Elite 8. Kevin, you were ousted a little earlier.
But honestly, I want to show a little bit of my bias here. Been a Duke basketball fan since J.J. Redick was throwing up threes and knocking them down on a daily basis. And since I'm going to a Duke game, hard not to be a fan after the experience of Cameron Indoor Stadium. But I was actually thrilled, and I thought the national championship game was a very entertaining game. And Tyus Jones and Grayson Allen brought Duke back and won the game. Grayson Allen brought them back and gave them the spark. Tyus Jones put the nail in the coffin and hit some of the biggest shots.
Dagger after dagger in late games.
Exactly. And he hit some crazy threes, He was getting fouled, throwing stuff up, going in. He shoots a three, falls down, knocks it,
But Grayson Allen scored, the first 8 points out of the half?
He went on a personal 8-0 run and had that one hustle play.
And had the entire country just as hype as could be in a college basketball game.
The moment I knew that Duke was going to at least hang tough and not get, not lay down and get blown out was that moment when Grayson Allen, or I think it was Quinn Cook, picked Trayvon Jackson's pocket, ball starts bouncing out of bounds, and Allen dives for it. Now, it was off of him. No, they called a foul on Jackson. They called a foul on Jackson. Grayson Allen dives for the loose ball, looks over the bench, starts screaming, banging on his chest. The whole bench is getting into it. Coach K is getting into it. He's loving it. And the next play, Grayson Allen gets an and one. The game changes from there completely.
Basketball is a momentum game, and Duke definitely had all the momentum late in that game.
Momentum.
Because Okafor was battling foul trouble and shut down really the entire game, but then they brought him in late game with probably 6-7 minutes left and hit 2 very clutch in the paint layups.
We heard it from all the analysts. 10 points, 3 rebounds.
Yeah, it wasn't much.
Not a typical Jahlil Okafor game, but they were just the best well-rounded team. That's why they won. When your best player scores 10 and 3 and you still win, you're doing something right. But the genius mind of Coach Mike Krzyzewski prevails again.
And getting 16 from a freshman point guard off the bench is usually a pretty good sign.
Grayson Allen, when these teams played December 3rd, Grayson Allen did not play.
Not even.
He sat on the bench the entire game. And here's how I know that Duke is the best team in America. They say it's one of the most cliche sayings in sports. If you want to be the best, you got to beat the best.
All year.
Out of the other 7 Elite 8 teams, Duke beat 4 of them.
Handily.
They beat 2 of the other Final Four teams. The 2 teams they beat in the Final Four, they beat for the second time. They beat Wisconsin, who I thought was the best team in America, beat them twice. Michigan State, now they beat them, when Michigan State wasn't as good. But when Michigan State got on a roll, they got on the Tom Izzo magic roll, beat them again by 20. Beat them like a drum, And here's another note on why I think Duke, it was the best team when they showed it. The best team won the tournament. When Jahlil Okafor had a bad game, Winslow had a bad game. Quinn Cook had maybe 4 points, 2 or 4 points. Tyus Jones and Grayson Allen. Grayson Allen comes off the bench, brings him back. Tyus Jones brings it home. And Emil Jefferson, a guy who I have knocked on all year for his defense,
soft,
shut down Frank Kaminsky when it mattered most. His team improved on defense immensely from the regular season. That's why they're the best team, and they earned it.
Shut down the best player in the country.
He absolutely did, and they earned it. Now, Coach K gets his 5th championship in a modern college basketball. He's won a title in 3 different decades. He passed Adolph Rupp for 2nd in all-time national championships. He's not going to catch John Wooden.
No.
That's 10 titles. And I agree with a lot of people that I've heard on ESPN and on podcasts and stuff lately that say you can't pick Wooden over Krzyzewski or Krzyzewski over Wooden, that they're on the same plane. And the more I think about it, the more I agree with it, because they were dominant in their own era. And I think Wooden maybe winning 10 championships then is like the equivalent to Coach K winning 5 now in 3 different decades.
I can agree with that.
I don't know. I love to give the credit where it's due to, respecting the old, traditions and old, like Bill Russell winning, 11 or 13 titles in
11.
Boston? 11.
Mm-hmm.
And, John Wooden having 10. But the game has evolved, and everyone is an athlete. These kids are getting, kids from small towns, with less than, 1,000 people, getting looks at because of the internet. You can find, recruiting has become the most advanced, and it's become easier. And to me, it's just more impressive nowadays when you succeed, because it's just the competition level. I feel like, in my opinion, just is tenfold what it was in the late 60s, early 70s. And
the game's
Coach
changing.
K is arguably the best coach of any sport of all time.
I agree with that. And he's adapted. He went from winning his first couple titles, to being a strict man-to-man coach, to winning teams with senior-laden squads. Christian Laettner winning back-to-back as junior and senior with Bobby Hurley. Shane
Now coach of
Battier,
Arizona State.
Shane Battier, Jay Williams, and those guys won their title. Juniors and seniors. When Duke won the title in 2010, Shire, Singler, Plumlee, Zubek, seniors.
No
He went with what Bo Ryan, in his bitterness, called the Rena player system, and won with it. And he went from playing, like I said, strict man-to-man to playing some zone and finding out what his team's weakness is, playing to it, and getting the best out of it. And that's what makes a great coach.
To me, and this definitely over the last at least 10 years, this tournament has been the best at showing who the best teams were. In my opinion, those were the two best teams. Kentucky, in my eyes, all season, I was just waiting for them to lose. I thought they were overrated. Their flaws, just one day, were just going to collapse. Like, they were going to, and they didn't play a bad game in the tournament up until, their eventual downfall. But Duke and Wisconsin, in my eyes, were the best, well-rounded teams. And if any coach deserved a title other than Mike Krzyzewski, it was Bo Ryan.
Bo Ryan's won several of the Division III ranks, which isn't easy either.
He deserved it. He's a great coach. And Wisconsin's going to lose a lot of their, backbone, but who knows? They may see him back.
It was an awesome Final Four. It was fun to watch. It was all the games except for the Duke-Michigan State drubbing were incredibly exciting to watch.
Yeah, that was a game that really kind of threw me off.
Yeah.
I didn't think that they would beat them by 20, but
yeah, I didn't think Michigan State would beat Duke at all, but I didn't think that it would be a tail whipping like it was, and they looked good then. Justice Winslow, I think, in that game boosted his NBA stock too. He is an automatic top 5 or 6 pick.
I look at Justice Winslow and think immediately like NBA ready, like size, and he's just got the skill set. He's got everything. He's not a soft defender. He can score the ball from anywhere. He's a good shooter. He's a monster in the paint. Him and Stanley Johnson, in my opinion, they're both at the 3. Both about 6'7", 6'8", 6'9", even, I think.
I'm not sure about Winslow. We'll have to check the height on Winslow.
But and they're stocky guys. They're not going to be bullied around in the paint by these bigger guys, and they're ready. They're going to make a splash in the NBA.
Oh, absolutely. And tell me if you agree with this. Justice Winslow reminds me a lot of Shane Battier in college, but more explosive. Doesn't shoot as well as Battier, but he is a typical Coach K coach player to where he's going to man-to-man defense. He'll lock you up, slap the floor, get big-time stops. Winslow is
6'6".
Okay.
Shorter than what I thought. He's 6'6", 225. I mean, he's a little stockier than Kobe, but I mean, if you're at Kobe's stature, you're
And as a forward,
if you have anything that just
you got anything that
reminds that matches up with Kobe Bryant, I'm gonna like
you do it.
It's just stuff for the championship.
Oh, and the game against Michigan State, 5 for 7 from the field. 9 for 11 from the free throw line, which has been his weakness.
Shot 50% from
Winslow's
3.
not a great free throw shooter.
No,
but he improved towards March. 6 for 6 in the game against Gonzaga in the Elite 8.
And for the minutes he played, 11 and 9, 11 points, 9 rebounds, 19 points, 9 rebounds, 16 points, 5 rebounds. In the NBA that'll translate into great games for rookies.
And as a small forward, averaged almost 7 rebounds a game.
He had a double-double against Utah, 21 and 10.
From the Sweet 16 on, here's his rebounding totals. Sweet 16, Utah, 10 rebounds. Only 5 rebounds against Gonzaga, only. 9 rebounds against Michigan State, and 9 in the title game against
Gonzaga is one of the best rebounding. It was one of the best rebounding teams all year. So
and they had size. He rebounded amongst the trees and got the best.
He gets blocks. I mean, he's recorded a block since 5 out of his last 6 games in the tournament.
And he had 3 against San Diego State, 2 against Utah, and 3 against Wisconsin. And one of those was a chase down off the backboard in crunch time. Fearless defender. Great on-ball defender. Insane athleticism. A very underrated NBA draft pick. I'm excited to see where he goes and how he fits in with some of these teams in the NBA right now that are struggling for any kind of defensive help.
I got a question for you guys.
We may have answers.
All this talk about, the NCAA, pretty soon we're going to have an end to the NBA season and figure out who gets that number 1 pick. Most likely the Knicks.
Right. Knicks take.
Or the Timberwolves.
Now, who goes first?
It really depends on who gets the pick, in my opinion.
Okay. I can agree with that. If the Sixers get the pick, they somehow win the lottery, get the pick,
They have Embiid. They have Noel. Picking a Karl Anthony Towns or Jahlil Okafor is only useless unless you plan on trading Noel or Embiid, which you shouldn't. Or the draft pick in general.
I would like to see the Sixers go Winslow or D'Angelo Russell, honestly. I think that would be a good pick.
D'Angelo Russell is the best non-big man in this draft, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
He's
easily
the most developed. He's got a few years under his belt. You know, he's NBA ready.
He's an insanely good scorer, too.
Yes, he is.
Average about 22 points a game, you know, in the college ranks. And, of course, in these 40-minute games, 35-second shot clock era, 22 points a game as a freshman is awesome.
And
that's carrying your team.
There is no question that the Sixers, the Knicks, or the Timberwolves,
or the #Lakers,
or the Lakers would enjoy an explosive scorer, because they're all in need of it.
Oh, absolutely.
But I'm gonna go. I feel like Jahlil has the most potential upside, but
Agreed.
Karl Anthony Towns is the most.
He's the safer.
He's the
most
most
developed,
too,
safe
in my
pick.
opinion.
Jahlil's defense is nothing to brag about. I mean,
but his offensive scoring is just
his scoring's unmatched. Like Towns gets his points where big men get their points, which is 2 feet away from the basket.
Rebound, putback, stuff like that.
But
Jahlil's
can
finesse
score,
and his post moves.
Jahlil can
looks a lot like Akeem Olajuwon.
Towns is good enough around the rim that of every Kentucky game I watch this year, if he has the ball and he has a foot in the paint, that ball is going to be scored. It's almost automatic. Against LSU, that's how they came back, was they kept feeding him. As Doug Gottlieb says, they fed him until he burped, and he just kept getting in there, shoot hook shot, score. Back Jordan Mickey down, hook shot, score. Back Jarrell Martin down, hook shot, score. And did it when it mattered and won them that game.
This might sound a little crazy, but Towns reminds me offensively of a young Amare Stoudemire.
Okay.
He's not the most athletic guy, but
strong.
Little turnaround, quick, hook shot, automatic in the paint, like you said, automatic.
Decent mid-range game.
Young stat could light it up from there. And then defensively, I might even say a young Kevin Garnett. Like, when that ball is getting close, you can count that he's gonna put a hand on it. Like, he's one of the most tenacious defenders in the nation, and he's got what it takes to play at the next level. And I think he's gonna go number one. I just think, teams are high up on him, and to me, it was a complete crime that he wasn't a finalist for the Player of the Year. Wasn't even a finalist. Cauley Stein got a nomination, but not Karl Anthony Towns. And to me, that's a crime. Willie Cauley-Stein is the most overrated college basketball player I've ever watched.
He's a freak athlete and a highlight reel.
We've said it every week.
He's an amazing athlete. And that's a lot of teams are looking for that. They're looking to build on young talent.
He'll be a great defender in the NBA, a wonderful defender in the NBA, because he can run with these guys and he can block shots. He's a tenacious on-ball defender.
He's a little lighter than DeAndre Jordan, but that's what I see like his NBA comparison. Really good next to the basket, can't hit a free throw to save his life.
I call this Stein can. His free throws good. Last year, no. I mean, he's improved his free throws a lot. Mm-hmm. DeAndre Jordan can't. That won't change.
He's not gonna. DeAndre Jordan's good. He wasn't an All-Star this year, but a lot of people said he should have been. He's a good player, but that's the closest comparison I see. Strictly off. I mean, not strictly offensive, but a very limited offensive game.
And I like what Chris Webber said. I agree 110% with what Chris Webber said about Cauley Stein. Of course, I've made the DeAndre Jordan comparison since Cauley Stein started the year this year. He says you can't compare him with DeAndre Jordan because against Notre Dame, 6'5" Pat Connaughton grabbed almost 10 boards over him, and they played similar minutes. He almost doubled his rebounding total. 6'5", goofy, white, looks like he can't jump over a pencil with a trampoline. Pat Connaughton grabs 9 rebounds on Willie Cauley-Stein.
Numbers don't lie.
They don't. And he's going to have to get better in that department. But in terms of being a rim protector and being an athlete, an NBA athlete, he's ready. But his offensive game with the ball, as Mercer rips ass, is not good. There's room for improvement and there's potential, but I can't put Cauley Stein in a class with Karl Anthony Towns or Jahlil Okafor.
Not even close.
But speaking of NBA, tonight is the night, fellas. the NBA, the Sports on the Couch NBA MVP Award. We're going to give our votes. First off, Alex, who are you putting in as your vote?
All right, before I get into my pick, I'm going to have to give a quick shout out. Russell Westbrook, any other year, any other typical Thunder year with a healthy Kevin Durant, if he has these numbers, he wins it every time. They would be the number 2, possibly the number 1 seed. He would win it hands down. Like today, 54-9-8.
That's absurd.
In a loss. Again, that's what's plagued him all year. To the Pacers.
Their defense blows.
Their defense is terrible. I want to pick Russell, but I would just be disappointed myself and all of you viewers. So I'm going to go with James Harden.
It's audio.
It's audio, dog.
Listeners, not viewers, man.
Viewers, you view a podcast, don't you?
Well, I mean, if it's going to be on YouTube,
Podcasts
you can
get
look at
views, don't they?
You get our thumbnail
You
picture.
can look at
We're
our
having that
picture
much fun with watching the screenshot.
and listen.
That's fine.
Listening to our voice.
To all you listeners out there,
There you go.
Correction.
vote Russell Westbrook. That's my
Have
my
pets
personal opinion.
Spayed and neutered.
Have your pets spayed. But I'm gonna go with James Harden.
It's your official vote?
Yes, because James Harden means more to the Rockets than Steph Curry does to the Warriors, in my opinion.
I agree.
You've had Dwight plagued with injury, and
hasn't played good even when he's
and
healthy.
if I can quote what Stephen A. Smith,
Yeah.
Dwight is irrelevant.
He's a bona fide
He's
scrub.
a bona fide scrub. James Harden is.
I have bombs to shoot a basketball in the fourth quarter.
James Harden had a great game tonight. He had 30 tonight, and his scoring
It's at
is
halftime.
unreal. Or at halftime, oh my.
Does he have
No,
three
this
nights?
is
No,
not.
it's over.
Oh.
He had 30 tonight.
Whoops.
If Russell Westbrook doesn't score 54 points tonight, he's the leading scorer. He's the
They
leading
were
scorer.
tied going into tonight.
I will give Steph consideration. It's a two-man race. It's the closest race we've seen in a long time. Because Harden and Steph Curry are putting up LeBron MVP numbers. Even better. Even better. And as close as Russell Westbrook is averaging to a triple-double, he's not going to get it.
Like I said.
He's not going to win.
If they make the playoffs, I
Even
think
though-
Russell Westbrook gets it. That's
I
just me.
hope so. I hope so. But I'm going
I
to go
don't
with
see that
James Harden.
happening.
James Harden, you take James Harden away from that team, you've got, what do you got? Jason Terry, Patrick Beverley's out for the year. And even then, he's
Papa
not.
Nicolau.
Papa Nicolau, Joey Dorsey.
Ugh. 29% free
It's
throw
looking
shooter.
a lot like the Lakers lineup. If
And
you take
uh,
James Harden off that roster.
You can't, they dropped down, I guess, to the 6th seed. They were 2 for the longest time. And, that Western Conference is...
But if the Spurs
So
hadn't gone on a
competitive.
10-0 run
They're
in
all,
their last 10 games,
52,
Duncan
53
in
wins. They're all fighting for that spot. And, without James Harden this year, the Rockets would be nothing. Steph Curry is surrounded by the past few years of, the most developing talent in the league. Draymond Green's come out of nowhere. Harrison Barnes come out of nowhere. Klay Thompson is developed into, an all-star. Andrew Bogut. Steph Curry makes Andrew Bogut look good.
Yeah.
And, and that's great and all, but, they're a 65-win team.
Right.
You can't deny that. He is the best player on the best team, but the most valuable player to me is James Harden.
I see that.
He wins games. He puts up ridiculous numbers, and he's the reason that they win games.
Yeah, I can agree with that. If you round up the decimals, he averages 28, 7, and 6. That's insane. Those are awesome numbers.
Those are typical. All 4 of LeBron's, MVP years, he was flirting with those numbers, and there's 3-4 guys that are doing that this year.
I agree, and that's one vote for Harden. For myself, I am with everybody else when I say if the Thunder, as a team, could guard the couch we are sitting on, they are in the playoffs. Westbrook wins the MVP because he's been putting up numbers that no one has seen since water fountains were segregated, when the Big O averaged a triple-double. And look it up. That was before we stopped segregation in America. That's how long ago it was when people were putting up these types of numbers. But, like I said...
Though, right? Just white guys?
Close.
In the NBA?
Yeah. There was mostly.
Mostly white, yeah.
Yeah.
Oscar Robertson was the first
I'm just saying,
GOAT.
it changes it a little bit.
Yeah.
When it's all white.
It does. It gives a different
There's
feel.
no LeBron James just cramming your shit.
Yeah, there's no people dunking on each other
And
and
Oscar Robertson
or
didn't
shooting
have
layups and filming Hoosiers.
No 3-point.
no 3-point line.
That's
Oscar
argument
Robertson.
against Babe Ruth too, because segregated MLB.
Yeah. Oh, that was a thing forever.
Yeah.
But away from the history lesson.
Back from History 101 on the couch.
Sorry.
We're going to get back to sports archive.
That's the other podcast.
We're gonna
History
make
on
a
the
history on
Couch.
the couch, and I will. Oh,
Mildly racist.
we'll get back case for that one. But I like James Harden. I like everything he's done this year. But I'm going with Steph Curry, and he's putting up. I mean, only 24 points, 8 assists, 4 rebounds. But his player efficiency rating, the PER, the thing that measures like how much you mean to your team, he is first in the league, and has had an unreal season, and he has led this Warriors team to statistically. Okay, well, Russell Westbrook's is actually a little higher, 28.57 for Westbrook and 28.13.
I think we all agree that Russell Westbrook means the most to his team, but the fact that they're not winning as much.
Oh, Jesus, I will say this. I just saw that where Westbrook scored 54 points, but he shot the ball 43 times.
But he shot 50%.
Almost
50%.
Still, that's still over 50. That's almost 50%.
33%, hit 5 threes, and he's not a 3-point
He's
shooter.
not known for his 3-point shooting at all.
However, he shot 33% though, 5 for 15.
Still impressive. But back to what you're saying, I said we agree.
And Curry like the Warriors have had the best regular season since the Bulls of the late 90s. And the way they're averaging wins by like 20 points a game, they're moving the ball well. Steve Kerr has got to be in consideration. Him and Mike Budenholzer are the two, candidates for Coach of the Year.
That's Steve Kerr's.
But can we get back on the Stephen Curry page? Here's what sold it for me. The last time we had a guy shoot 50% from the field, over 40% from the 3-point line, and over 90% from the free throw line was the back-to-back MVP Steve Nash. Stephen Curry, his percentages from the 3-point line, 44%. From the field, 49%. He is 1 percentage away from that. And from the free throw line, he is 91%. He is 1 percentage away in the field goal department from doing something no one's done since the guy who won the MVP 2 years in a row.
With not very good numbers.
Not only that, Steph Curry is outscoring that Steve Nash MVP year by 7 points, down on assists, but there's
not by much.
He's out rebounding him for sure.
And what sold it for me was watching the game against Portland Thursday night when Curry owned the game, dropped, how much was it? Go down to his game log here. Sorry about hitching the face. In an 11-point win against a playoff team, he shot 17 for 23. He shot 74% from the field, 8 for 13 from distance, from the great beyond, 3 for 3 from the free throw line, dropped 10 assists, and scored 45 points. He is the most efficient player in the league. He is on the best team in the league, and the best team we've seen in at least over 10 years. And like I said, he's made Bo get better. He's helped make Draymond Green better. Mm-hmm. He's helped turn Klay Thompson. He gets Klay Thompson these open shots and gives him these looks that allow him to score 37 points in a quarter. So I'm with Westbrook if the Thunder could play any type of defense. But since they're not going to be in the playoffs, I think they have just tailed off so bad. I got to go Curry. Curry gets my vote. So it's 1-1, Harden Curry. Brody, who you got?
I'm with you and you, Love, on if the Thunder could play defense on the couch we're sitting on, even though it is a pretty awesome couch.
A wide couch. It's got good size.
It does. Cover a lot of floor. Anyway.
Rim protector.
And they make the playoffs. Russell Westbrook, clear-cut MVP.
Clear cut.
But odds are they're not going to make the playoffs. Mm-mm. There's, 2 games left in the season?
They dropped a big one tonight.
They are tied for the 8th seed.
Well, you don't know.
They're the 9th seed.
You don't know what happened last time we were here because these guys just
We were
had
all for it.
big old Russell Westbrook circle jerk.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, because
We did.
Russell Westbrook has been the best player in the
I
league.
assumed they would sneak up and get a 6th seed.
Invested,
Yeah,
and it's
I was.
on the record. So if
It
they
is.
go back on
It is
it
on the
now,
record. I am going back on it right now.
My official vote.
How dare you?
My official vote because this thing's
Things
this,
change.
You guys
Sports
both
change.
stay the same, 'cause you
MVP.
were all
The
about
MVP
it.
vote fluctuates so much in terms of like how teams end up, and I was dead set on Westbrook taking the Thunder to at least a 6th seed in the West, and that looks like it's not going to happen now. He's tailed off. He's not tailed off. His team has tailed off. The best scoring threat on the floor is Enes Kanter and Anthony Morrow. Let's remember that one of those guys' names rhymes with male genitalia. So that's my point. Proceed, Brody.
Okay, but now going back on my previous Russell Westbrook fanboy phase,
Yeah, I've moved on from that too.
I'm saying James Harden takes it.
I like it.
For the pure fact that Houston, who on paper for 60% of the year have had players that people have probably been like, who is that guy? You know.
Mm-hmm.
But yet, the playoff standings in the West right now, the Warriors are obviously the clear-cut 1 seed. Memphis is 11 games back.
Yeah.
The Clippers are 11 games back. The Spurs are 11 games back. The Rockets are 11.5 games back.
Whoa. And a loaded Western
In
Conference.
This
loaded
Western Conference has been
Conference.
the best Western Conference we've seen since we've been alive, no
One of the best
doubt.
conferences in sports, period.
10 games up in the best conference, and that's why LeBron doesn't even get consideration for me. Nobody from the East. Nobody.
It's been a Steph Curry year.
But James Harden just means way more to the Rockets
Fair
than
enough.
Steph Curry does to the Warriors, like you said, because without James Harden, are they 11 games back with 4 of the best teams in the Western Conference?
Probably not.
Or are they fighting for a lottery pick?
They're still in the thick of things.
Exactly.
They are in the thick of things, These last 2 games are going to mean a lot because Spurs have been on a roll, but I mean they lose their last 2 games and they're back, back
in the
back in that
6-7
six
seed.
six. I mean the Mavericks.
Yep.
Nobody's going to drop below 6. The Mavericks clinch the 7, but that 2-6 really is going to
wide
affect
open.
on who you're playing.
I mean, they're all within a half of a game of each other,
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So we got 2 Harden, 1 Curry. Kevbot, what you got?
I'm gonna go with the chef.
Aha,
Chef Curry with the
Chef
pop
Curry.
boy.
And he
Shout out
is
to
just
Drake.
I really like watching him play. I don't know much about basketball, so I'm not the best person to ask about this, but he's been
But you're on the couch.
he's been my favorite player to watch. I really enjoy watching him play. He makes everybody on the floor better, and I think that's what an MVP should be, is somebody that makes everybody on his team better.
That's where I am.
And it's top 5 in steals every year.
Mm-hmm.
And defense obviously correlates in the MVP, and James Harden cannot play defense.
Steph Curry,
And
4th in the
he's
league.
just
yes.
awesome. Go Steph.
You got all the predictions there?
Well, we're tied at 2, and we're going with the tiebreaker. Producer DJ Matt Mercer, you have heard the arguments, you've heard the cases. Curry or Harden?
Curry or Harden?
Yeah.
Nobody's saying Westbrook anymore?
Well, he doesn't have any votes right now.
How about you guys are all losers? Russell Westbrook.
Hey,
So are we
Hey,
gonna
the Masters magic. For
are we
Russell
going to
Westbrook.
That's fine, man.
Are we going to NFL this shit and have co-MVPs like they did with Steve McNair and Peyton Manning?
I mean,
in
I don't
04?
know anything about it, so having to pick between one or the other, I'm going to say
It
Curry
hurts me.
because Indian food.
Because Indian
Because
food.
Indian
All right,
food.
that's it. That
Chicken
settles
curry.
it.
Hey,
Thanks,
well,
man.
I've got another. While we're in kind of a lull here, I've got another. Let me come into the mic range here because I have another thing that we can predict, and it's going to be a long time before any of us are vindicated on this. But I
All
think
right.
you'll find it entertaining. So, it's been a pattern for a while now that NBA superstars, after they retire, do commercials for weird companies.
Oh,
So you got Shaq,
this is good.
Gold Bond.
Weirdest.
Weird commercials.
Very weird.
Icy hot.
I get smooth. Weird.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan did all those
Become the
weird,
bees.
real awkward Hanes commercials.
Mhm.
You know, I'm
He
sure
did
there's,
awkward Gatorade
I'm
commercials
sure
when he
there's more
played.
athletes that have done it, but this is the question.
Oh, this is good. I'm
When
excited.
LeBron James retires, what company are his weird, awkward commercials going to be?
Got
with?
mine. Copenhagen. LeBron's going to endorse chewing tobacco.
Seriously though, I wanted you to take a real pick, like, because one of us might be right.
Okay. I was first torn between Copenhagen and Wrangler jeans, but
LeBron James following in Brett Favre's footsteps.
and Dale Jr.'s.
And Drew Brees now.
Drew
I think.
Brees, yeah.
Drew Brees does it now.
Oh, he does Levi's.
Levi's. Got it.
Yeah.
Different strokes for different folks. So I
Yeah,
get it.
exactly. If not Wrangler or Copenhagen, Walmart.
Walmart, that's a solid bid.
Walmart.
What do you think, Love?
They got the money to do it.
They've got him sold now. I mean, he's in commercials now, and that's what I'm gonna say. He stays with the Kia. He stays with Kia, and that's what he's gonna drive Kias for the rest of his life.
It's not that weird though. It's not as weird.
It's not as weird, but you can't.
It's not as weird.
You can't pay me to believe some of these guys drive Kias.
LeBron to me is a dad. He's an NBA dad. You know, he's a respectable
balding
family
old man.
Balding
You're
man.
saying that 15 years from now, LeBron James is going to be in a commercial where he pulls up in a minivan. He's like, "Hey kids, get in the van," and somebody's like,
not
LeBron,
that dad.
oh my God,
LeBron, yeah, I'll help you find your dog for free candy.
All I'm saying is, when LeBron retires, how old his kids are, he's gonna be driving them to practice. And you know he's gonna be driving in a Kia.
They'll probably already be old enough to drive. If you're LeBron's
Probably.
kid,
He's
I
still
think you
got
age
years.
like 4 times as fast.
And I
Super
think your
big.
kids get limo rides to practice.
Judging by how his grandfather Greg Oden looked at Ohio State,
LeBron
how
James,
he looks now.
At the
You guys
age of
both
like
gotta pick a
19.
company,
Kia
too.
commercials
I'm
for life.
picking LeBron James endorsing Nabisco cookies.
Oh,
Great,
yes.
solid,
Yeah.
solid.
Good.
Love
It's
Chips
like
Ahoy.
Oreos.
Shout
Oreos,
out.
Chips Ahoy,
And
that's a
what's
good
his
Nutter Butters.
What's
anything.
his snack of choice? What's his specialty snack? Like, if there is one commercial and Nabisco's like, we landed LeBron James, are we going to help him endorse cheese nips?
It's got to be Oreos, man.
No,
It's
It's
the
gonna be
flagship-
It's gonna be
the
Chips
mint
Ahoy.
the
Oreos.
flagship
Mint? Ooh,
Oreo.
Mint
Oreos.
Oreos. Yeah, mint Oreos.
I mean, that's the big Oreo now. We don't know what the big Oreo is going to be.
That's true. It might be something weird.
Cotton
but
candy.
It's gonna be like
Oreos.
his Sprite, like the LeBron mix Oreos.
Ooh, Sprite would be a good pick.
What do you think?
He already does Sprite.
The
yeah.
beef jerky industry is gonna
Ooh,
snag
like the
LeBron.
messing
Oh, they
with
took
Sasquatch.
Richard Sherman.
Messing with LeBron
And
instead of
Stephen
messing
A.
with
Yeah.
Sasquatch.
And Stephen
Messing
A.
with
and
LeBron.
All right.
And Stephen A.
Well, what I'm going with is this. So, Michael Jordan and Shaq both did like men's kind of weird products, kind of things. Like one of them keeps your your undies dry, and like wicks away moisture. Gold Bond wicks away moisture, right?
Keeps those weenuses
LeBron
dry.
socks.
Oh.
I don't know what company.
Starter
Starter
socks.
Starter
Starter
socks.
socks.
Bring it
Tony
back from the
Romo
90s.
esque.
are so messed up from being in the NBA for so long. But the starter socks help me keep me dry and
Starter
whatever.
socks.
I don't know. He's LeBron.
You know, okay,
Socks.
I could see him doing Bengay commercials.
Ben
for
Gay
jo-
would be
Okay.
Ben
for
Gay.
joint pain.
Well, he's got to get real old.
Yeah. My last sleeper company, Viagra or
Yeah.
Cialis.
Always.
There's not a chance. Not a chance.
I'm 80 years old and I'm still slaying. And what helps me keep up on my game off the court?
And I still go hard in the
Still go hard in the paint.
Waka
I can
Flocka,
see it now.
LeBron.
I can see it now, yeah. Waka and LeBron do
Waka
a Viagra
Flocka
commercial
James.
in their 80s.
Yep.
Because they're still going at it in their 80s. LeBron may be physically fit man. He's going to be healthy.
I like. Well, we'll record those predictions and we'll come revisit it in 10 years or so.
Exactly. I like it. But see what?
So change of pace a little bit, I'm assuming.
Oh yeah.
After we've
After
got
all
the
that.
MVP.
Okay,
race.
we got two. We're gonna do.
We're gonna take the.
Oh, Quidditch is last. We got.
Okay.
So this
Save the best for last.
we're gonna do one more. We're gonna do baseball.
MLB?
Yeah,
Oh,
MLB.
MLB.
It's time
Yes.
to overreact to 5 out of 162 games on the season.
Woo!
Now,
Baseball,
I'm
best
gonna
sport in America.
my first.
Go.
It's America's sport. My first absurd overreaction of the year is that the Twins will never score a run this year. They were shut out of their first 2 games, scored 1 in the next. They are not scoring more than 100 runs. Now, of course, these are all just stupid and outlandish and Bill Walton-esque hyperboles. But for comedic purposes, the Twins aren't going to score more than 100 runs all year.
I mean, that's possible.
That's
Maybe.
not as far fetched as you'd think.
I
It's
mean,
not.
it's like less than a run a game.
Definitely, that's like that's almost like a run every 3 games.
Let's see what the least runs ever for a
The Twins top it.
least runs.
My absurd takeaway from this first week of baseball is the Braves.
Ah,
How
hot
the
start.
Braves are 5-1,
Kevin's juiced.
I do not know because they traded away
Oh, they're
4
The
All-Stars.
best closer in the league.
Mm-hmm. Now that Mario Rivera is out.
Hayward gone. Upton's, see you later.
Both of them.
Kimbrel, Adios.
I think
And yet we're 5-1.
I think the B.J. Upton one was addition by subtraction.
Yes.
I think you can lose as 100 plus strikeouts a year and not hitting over 200. I think you gain a little bit
That's true.
by getting rid of B.J. Justin, big loss. B.J., good for you. It's like the Pistons getting rid of Josh Smith.
Fewest runs scored in a season was in 1908 by St. Louis, 372.
The Twins are breaking records for all the worst things.
So 371 or less, and they'll have broken for being the worst team a record that sits for over 100 years.
Since
I'm
the
looking at
last
you.
time,
Since the
last time the Cubs
my
won.
Cubs have won a World Series.
Cubs win World Series. Twins don't score over 200 runs. Coincidence?
The world,
I think
the
not.
world may explode.
The world
Now,
will
I'm going to take
explode.
about those Braves. I'm going to take you on a little trip back to a few years ago. The last Braves game I attended. You know, the Braves are the closest team to us. You know, I try to get down there every once in a while and enjoy a game. I saw the Braves play the Miami Marlins in their first year in Miami.
All right.
And it was pre-Justin Upton, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
B.J. Upton was there for sure because this was the year. This was definitely a 100-loss Marlins year. They were bad. They were awful. And they were playing the Braves on this day. Might I add, this is the third time I've seen the Braves where they lose the only game in the series where they would win.
Yeah.
They would lose the one that I went to and win the other two.
Against the Marlins team that's in constant rebuild
Awful
mode.
team. By the 7th inning stretch, B.J. Upton had struck out 3 times and was
Shocker.
replaced in the outfield by, wait for it, Reed Johnson.
Former
Bruh.
Cub. Shout out.
Bruh.
You know,
This is my shocked face.
getting rid of him is going to be a good thing.
Can't
Cameron Maben, just as good
Get him
right now.
healthy.
B.J. Upton was good with the Rays, but ever since then, he's been nothing.
Yeah, you can't hit.
So, you know, the Braves, it astonishes me just as much as it astonishes you. I thought they were. I told Elijah early in spring training. I said my bold prediction for this year is that the Miami Marlins finish ahead of the Braves. But as you can see, the Braves are in first and the Marlins are in last at 1-4.
So far through our first 5-game.
I might have been wrong about that, but you know, good for the Braves. The NL East, in my opinion, is the weakest division probably in the National
Could
League.
be. Because the Phillies are going to blow.
The
Nationals should run away with it. With that pitching staff. Should.
They'll get it together, but they're going to be the only playoff team, in my opinion.
If we're going to do stupid hyperbole reactions, overblown reactions to the first week of the season, Max Scherzer will break records in strikeouts, throw no-hitters, and win 3 games.
Well, he did
Never.
it. He did it on opening day.
Yeah, he had a
Gave up 0 earned runs, and I
Well,
don't think
3-1.
Took the L.
gave up no hits either.
To Bartolo
Because
Colon.
their only hits were on errors.
Bartolo Colon is 2-0, and don't forget, this guy's been pitching since we fought the Revolutionary War. Okay? Like, he was on, I think he played for the original Washington baseball team, like the Washington Senators.
Senators, yeah.
You know? I think this guy struck out Ted Williams. You know? This guy's been in the league forever.
Nobody struck out that Williams.
Nobody.
Nobody. Unless you're, what's the dude's name? Bad News Bears. The coach in the old Bad News Bears movies. His claim to fame was... Yeah, his claim to fame
Morris
was
Buttermaker.
Morris Buttermaker. Unless you're Morris Buttermaker and you're coaching the Bad News Bears and your claim to fame was striking out Ted Williams once in spring training, that was from the old Bad News Bears, not the god-awful remake.
Yo, shout out to Billy Bob Thornton.
alive today that struck out Ted Williams.
Oh,
And
definitely.
they've still got a big dick about it, probably.
They will never not have a big
Probably
dick
comes
about
up
it.
in every conversation.
They've got high school Letterman syndrome for sure.
Yeah. It's like peaked in high school Rob Lowe.
Yeah.
It's those guys.
Not scrawny arm Rob.
I struck out Ted Williams in spring training of 1943. World War II was in flux.
Then he went on to be the last player to ever hit 400. So
Yeah, and then that's
yeah,
that.
he's pretty good.
He's
He
kind-
was pretty good.
Kind of a big deal. But Kevin, what's your biggest overblown takeaway from our first baseball action?
That the Royals are gonna go undefeated at all.
They're 6-0. They are
He's 1-4.
6 down. How many left?
159. No.
Nope, 7.
Wow. 100,
Whoa.
What about the Yankees going 1-4 to start the season?
They'll get it together.
That's, yeah.
The Yankees always get it together, but
They'll get
They
it
had a
together.
lot of hype.
They
coming
are.
into
They're the
season.
New York Yankees.
Boston is the most overrated team in America, in my
They're not
opinion.
going to win another game. That's my overblown.
They're not winning
don't win
another
another
game.
Yankees will not win. There will be one in however many.
161.
The Yankees and Twins play in at least 8 1-0 games this year.
Yeah.
One of them's got to win at least 4.
It's gonna be a walk-off 1-0 win in the 26th inning.
So either you'll be right or I'll be right. Yours
One of the two, yeah.
I remember watching not too long ago the Yankees and the Twins in the playoffs on TBS, and it's a stretch. That's not really going to happen this year.
No. Not
Brought
at
to you
all.
by our sponsor, TBS.
We are not affiliated with TBS.
Not at all. It's a misconception. But speaking of not overblown, but just like crazy baseball stuff. What was the score of that Division II baseball game?
41-20.
41-20.
And at the top of the 8th, it was 27-20.
Yeah, 27-21.
So
Imagine-
they scored 14 runs in the 8th inning.
Imagine you're a Randy Johnson-esque no-hitter, a Nolan Ryan-esque no-hitter, the most perfectly pitched game possible. This is like the most far-stretched exact opposite of that game.
That sounds like a Division III football score.
Oh, yeah.
Basketball, maybe.
I don't think Tennessee football scored 41 points in the years. And these guys did 41 runs,
61 combined runs. 56 total hits.
You guessed it, our 41-20 winners, Minnesota State. And they played, how do you pronounce?
Bemidji State.
Bemidji
State. The Bemidji State Beavers gave up a whopping 41 runs. I think this is the only time, they got run ruled. I think this is the only time in baseball history you can score 20 runs and get run ruled. Surely to God, that has not happened anywhere else in this great country. Or in Japan, or Canada, or the Fiji Islands, Zimbabwe. This could not have happened anywhere else. That's insane. A mercy rule. And you score 20 runs. Are they playing off a tee? Did they stop playing pitchers and they put the ball on a tee? Are we doing underhand softball? What's going on here? That's insane.
That's baseball for you.
At least the Minnesota State team can say they smashed the Beaver.
That was good. Great.
Is that too bad?
I'm
I think-
put in like a
Is that too bad? Come on.
I mean,
That works.
that works.
All
That's
those
good.
guys smashed the Beaver that day.
I think they all did. I think the Bat Boy did too. Bat Boy got in on the action. That was our reaction.
Sound
Can we get
effects.
a sound effect that just goes boo? We're just gonna boo him off the
Hey,
couch.
I'll be here for the next few hours. Be
Yeah.
here all week.
But shh. Oh, that's knuckin' futz.
Can we quit talking about all this nonsense and start talking about some Quidditch?
Some Quidditch? Yes. Actually, yes.
The rando sporting event of the week is the U.S. Quidditch World Cup in
And
none
Rock
other
Hill.
than Rock Hill, South Carolina.
Home of former UT quarterback Justin Worley. Fun fact.
R.I.P. to Justin Worley. Shout out, love you.
Yeah, the only guy to ever play quarterback from his ass a whole year. He was getting sacked so many times. Now, there is a list of all these teams in the 8th annual Quidditch World Cup. Now, the criteria to play in this event is you pay a $400 team fee. So you best believe that the 2016 World Cup of Quidditch will include sports on the couch. I'm in. I think everybody else is in agreement, and we're going to start up a team.
I'm down.
If you're interested, tweet at us.
This is the only problem, and if I know my Harry Potter trivia, which I do,
Yes.
there's 7 players on the Quidditch team.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
5.
We have 2 more. We will take volunteer. We'll recruit. Okay.
I know Case,
We will take
Case has been
Twitter
on, but
recruitment
I feel like
videos.
he'd be a douche about it.
He will be a douche about it.
Quidditch.
He is. If you're here,
Matt Case impression
you're
of the
a
week.
douche. Yeah. Can you do it again? Can you do it again? Because that was really good.
Dude, I'm not gonna. I can't do that.
Now we got some good. A lot of it looks like Division I athletic schools are putting out.
Shout out to
teams.
Tennessee Tech, hometown.
Tennessee Tech.
Tennessee
Yeah.
Tech
Alma
is in
mater.
it.
I just hope that.
The same city where Nelly got caught for meth. Continue.
I just hope that
Is that why he went in?
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
Okay. I read the report today. Molly, not methamphetamine.
It tested for methamphetamine.
It tested methamphetamine, but it's not the crystal rock meth that Middle Tennessee is usually known for.
So he was probably just doing Molly. And he got a weird batch.
He starts sweating.
I mean, it's all gonna test. Molly tests positive for amphetamines anyway.
Yeah.
So.
Current events with the On the Couch guys.
Exactly.
We're not boss here. We can say what we want.
Yeah, exactly.
I just really hope that our hometown Tennessee Tech Quidditch team can hang with the likes of the McCully Honors College Marauders and
the Tufts University Tuffle Puffs.
What if Tech wins the whole thing?
We're streaking campus, dude.
Absolutely.
We're taking down the goalpost. I'm setting buildings on fire.
Expelliarmus.
The NAU Narwhals. Watch out for them.
I like the Long Beach Funky Quaffles, the Lost Boys. UCLA's in it. The Wizards of Westwood. TC Frost probably got a stacked team.
Wisdom Maggot Quidditch of VCU.
Ooh. Oh, here's my bold prediction.
Do you mean?
What?
What does it say?
Wizen Maggot?
Wizen Maggot? Where's it? Oh.
Wizen Maggot. WIZENMAGOT.
I think what they did is they tried to do something, they spelled it wrong.
Sri Lankan spelling word of the week.
If you switch the G and the M there, I'm a huge Harry Potter nerd. This is really going to bring the whole podcast down. I'm sorry.
No,
if you switch the M and the G there, you have Wizengamot, which is like the Supreme Court of the Harry Potter.
Oh, okay. See, we have our hockey analyst. We have, basketball, baseball here. Alex knows all of it.
Silly fantasy.
You are the Quidditch analyst, the sports on the couch Quidditch analyst.
I have an opinion on anything.
The books. But the Villanova Community Quidditch team. Here's my prediction. They play really well in the regular season. They go 28-2. They blow through their conference tournament. They win the Big East of Quidditch. They get the first seed in, their Mid-Atlantic bracket. They beat, the crap out of Lock Haven University. And then they meet the mighty, wait for it, Penn State University Nittany Lions, who's an 8 seed, came off a thrilling game against 9 seed George Mason University. And they shit the bed and lose in the second round and bust everyone's Quidditch bracket. Okay.
Sounds like we have a little correlation.
We have an odd NCAA basketball tournament parallel here.
Somebody might be a little butthurt.
Sounds like we need to figure out how this tournament works and make a Quidditch bracket for the podcast.
That'd be awesome
the night if it wasn't done. Tonight was the last night.
Who
won? Doesn't say, but there's a team called the Blue Mountain Quidditch Club. Blue Mountain, as in like Blue Mountain State. But I'll see. If I had to pick one, my final four: Indiana University Midnight Snipes Quidditch team.
The University of Texas champions.
Oh wow!
Seriously.
2015 U.S. Quidditch.
So you're telling me
you'd expect a Quidditch
Rock Hill, South Carolina.
You're telling
University
me
of
the
Texas.
Warriors aren't going to win?
You are telling me the Hofstra University Flying Dutchman, nor wait for it, Clone Star Quidditch Club didn't give Texas a run for their money? Are you telling me?
Or Osos doing?
They actually played
loosely.
They actually beat Lone Star Quidditch Club in the finals, 120 to 90.
Wow.
I don't know what that means
on the couch
in Quidditch terms.
Here we go. Are you guys ready for this?
Yes. Let's hear it.
Ready.
Hit it and Quidditch.
Hit it and Quidditch.
Hit it and Quidditch.
Our Quidditch team name. Hit it and Quidditch. That's going on Twitter.
Check us out next
Put that
year
on
in
Twitter
Rock Hill,
right now.
South Carolina.
Yeah. And we're going to be the Hit It and Quidditch on the couch. Goes on the road.
Well, on the couch is fitting.
It's fitting. Hit It and Quidditch on the couch. Where it all happens. Where all the magic happens.
Right.
But if you have a good idea for a Quidditch name, tweet at us at @sports_OTC1 and just give us what you got. Your best
It's got to be better
Quidditch
than
team.
Hit It or Quidditch.
And if it's not better than Hit It or Quidditch, we are sticking with Hit It and Quidditch. That was beautiful. And honestly, I'm going to start watching some film on the Los Angeles Gambits, the NAU Narwhals, and definitely the Santa Barbara Black Tips.
The Silicon Valley Scroots.
Oh, Jesus. Or, no. The best name in this tournament, the Long Beach Funky Quaffles.
Quaffle sounds dirtier than it is, but that's what the ball's called, right?
Yeah, I think so.
The quaffle.
Yeah.
Quaffle
Sounds pretty dirty.
The quad waffle. Quaffle.
Touch my quaffle.
Hey, dude, hit me. Quaffle. I'm wide.
Quaffle me, bro.
I don't take syrup on my quaffle.
I don't take syrup on my quaffle. That's a good one. I don't take syrup on my quaffle.
It's a good Quidditch name.
The Quaffle House.
Could be chicken and quaffle.
Chicken and quaffles. Quaffle House. Quaffle Puff.
Oh man.
The possibilities are endless.
Thug quaffle.
Thug Quaffle.
Quaffle.
Ooh, that's good.
Fuck
Thug
Shelby's
quaffle?
reference.
Oh man, I
Oh
can't.
no! Hold on.
I don't think I can find anything
Oh
else that matches
no.
Come back in.
No, we'll leave it in there, man. So no, we didn't lose any audio.
It's true. Oh
All
wow.
hail Steve Jobs for creating the MacBook because my computer, for the first time ever, did not ship it.
It absolutely did not.
Okay, so Quidditch finals next year. Hopefully we're there.
We're in it, dude.
Hopefully
You're
we're in it.
absolutely in it.
Is there prize money?
Ooh, yeah. Look up prizes for Quidditch. There better be some.
What if we win in it and we don't even look into the prizes, but then they give us like?
I mean, it doesn't
Think of
say
something.
anything here on the website about it, but what it does say is that the team qualifying through the regionals has the opportunity to compete at the World Cup to be crowned the world champions.
What if it's everybody's entry fee? What if that's the prize money?
That's tuition for a while for me, dude.
This is how crazy the World Series of Poker is to go to a different sport. I
Hey,
guess what you want to call it.
It's on ESPN. It counts.
Yeah, ESPN too.
So is cheerleading.
But the World Series of Poker, the entry fee is like $20,000. It's $10,000 or $20,000. I can't remember, but like that's what the prize money is.
Yeah.
There's just so many thousands of people enter that the winner gets like 50 mil.
Oh.
Can you imagine?
50 mil.
There was a guy, the WPT I think was like $30 million or something. But there was a guy who did a $35 online poker tournament, and like the prize for that tournament was a seat at the WPT, and he won it, and then he won the WPT. So he turned $35 into like tens of millions of dollars.
That, my friends, is a smart investment.
That's a good investment. Yes.
And also definitely the luckiest man on the planet.
Absolutely.
His accountant
Absolutely.
must have needed to change his pants.
Pepper
I mean,
needed
he had
new
like a
shorts.
regular job. Can you imagine
yeah,
having like
dude
a
might not
regular
even
job
have
and
had
just
an
liking to
accountant.
play poker and then being able to go back into your boss and be like, I bought the place.
Yeah, just bought the place. Hey, sorry about it. You can call it rude, but I'm buying the place out, and you're fired.
You're fired.
Get the hell out of here. Oh, that's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Well,
Shout out to Steve at Staging.
Steve has Steak and Shake.
Where's bow?
Yeah, Steve.
Where's bow ties now?
Steve, if you're listening, you're a douche.
You're a douche, and your fake wrestling is not real.
And you look like the Monopoly man.
You look like the Monopoly man.
Oh man, I just genuinely hope that gets back to him. I really do.
This is gonna be hilarious. I hope he hears that. That'd be funny. I'll show him. I'll wrestle him. I'll put him in a full Nelson. I'll show him. Show him who the boss is.
I'll get him.
I'll get him.
What I learned training for the Army Rangers. Classic.
For the Army Texas Rangers.
I legit, when I was working there, I thought about, for the listeners, this guy is just a huge bullshitter and on every level. And
We all know a guy
he said
like
he was
that.
an Army Ranger. He could very well have been, but he's a tiny man. He looked like...
The Monopoly man.
But I thought about, there's that YouTube channel that's Stolen Valor people, where they find people who say that they're doing that, and I thought about emailing that guy and be like, hey, look into this guy and see if
Check him out.
see if he's a person. Because the guy who does the channel is an Army Ranger,
Mhm.
so I guess they have some kind of access to who is that.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
That would have
Yeah.
been awesome to expose that.
All I know is if you're an Army Ranger and you're managing a Steak and Shake,
Something went
something went wrong. Something's sour.
Yeah. Dishonorable discharge or something.
But hey,
Sorry, this is going completely off the rails. I don't know what you guys.
I like what's
I have no idea.
But
I have
I'm
no
ready.
idea where we're at.
Take a short break, and while you wait, Brody is going to give you the random MLB player of the week. Sports on the Couch will be right back.
This week's random MLB player, the man that wore a batter's helmet in the box, on the field, and in our hearts, John Olerud.
So welcome back to Sports on the Couch. This is our last little segment. It's a new thing that we're trying to call closing statements. Each one of us that are on the couch is going to give a closing statement about just anything in sports that they feel the need. Get off their chest. Any bold predictions, anything. It's up to them. And we're going to start off with Mr. Alex Love.
All right, Alex Love here, former Little Lebowski urban achiever. And I'm just going to go on a quick little rant about Russell Westbrook. We've talked about him all night. He's post Kobe Bryant, my favorite player in the NBA. And he's going to go down as the biggest MVP snub the league has ever seen. He's not going to win. He's almost averaging a triple-double. His wins above replacement, or his player efficiency is through the roof. It's a complete crime that he's not going to win, but we've all accepted the fact that the Thunder season is over and Russell's MVP chances are over.
All right. Elijah Campbell, 2007 National Rock, Paper, Scissors champion. Number 3 in the world at one point. Recently, Tennessee hired a new basketball coach, Rick Barnes. This guy is a hell of a recruiter. This guy got Kevin Durant, LaMarcus Aldridge, DJ Augustine, guys who are premier NBA talents, to come to Texas and play for him. What Tennessee needs is good recruiting, better players, and just excitement. Donnie, as good of a coach as people accepted Donnie Tyndall to be, he wasn't, I don't think, a guy who would survive in a big-time conference. He had a lot of baggage, which apparently no one knew about. Got himself in trouble, but coaches great defense and is a pretty good coach. Did I like the fit at Tennessee when he first got hired? Absolutely not. Not at all. They were terrible this year. This is one of the worst Tennessee basketball teams since Scooter McFadden was putting up the points and Buzz Peterson was the guy on the sidelines. I like Rick Barnes. I love the Rick Barnes hire. And a lot of things that you've heard around Knoxville is he's not a great hire because he's underachieved with all his talent. Well, here's one thing. Tennessee post Pearl has had a lot of talent. We have underachieved just as much. Rick Barnes has gone to more Final Fours as a coach, 1, than Tennessee has as an entire program, 0. He's gone to more Elite Eights, more Sweet 16s, and is close on wins, I'm sure. Tennessee needs a resurgence. We need the excitement. If Tennessee basketball wants to be back on the map and wants to be somewhat relevant in the SEC, we need the excitement. We need the coaching experience. We need the postseason experience. And we need someone who's going to get people excited for Tennessee basketball. No one was excited for Tennessee basketball this year. I don't think Josh Richardson was excited to play on this team. It was bad. It was a train wreck. Won some big games, lost a lot of terrible games, and we're not even close to being mentioned for the NCAA tournament as a bubble team. So I love the Rick Barnes hire. I think we should all let it play out. I think Dave Hart knows what he's doing, and Rick Barnes is actually excited to be the coach at Tennessee. I predict that in the next couple of years, we'll make Elite Eights, we'll make Sweet 16s, and hell, maybe a Final Four appearance. That's crazy and far-fetched, but with Rick Barnes, I think he's in the situation where he can do it. And that's my little spiel as the former 2011 JV MVP of District 6-3A. I'm passing it on to my man Brody.
Brody Whitaker, the guy that was the 4th grade 4-H president runner-up, lost by 1 vote, didn't vote for myself. Classic mix-up. But my closing statement's going to be baseball. Water is wet, so I'm just going to stick with what I know. And I'm going to talk about how the Cubs are massively screwing up by having Chris Bryant sitting in Iowa AAA when he should be starting every single day for the Chicago Cubs. The best player that they've had in that organization in a very long time. Hits the ball better than anybody did in spring training this year. And they've just got him sitting in Iowa in AAA, which might progress him as a player and progress the Cubs as an organization. But I think me going along with the rest of the Cubs fan base would like instant gratification, having like some wins. It's been 107 years since we've won a World Series. Let's hope this is the year. And remember, America, the journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step. I'm going to pass it off to KG, Kevin Greer.
Howdy, it's KevBot here. And when I was in the 3rd grade, I thought that I was gay. And I just have to say that I think the Preds are going to win the Stanley Cup, going 16-0 in the playoffs. I know it's pretty far-fetched, and I think it's going to happen. You can call it rude. Sorry about it. And on a more serious note, though, if the Preds were to lose, I hope it's to a 100% healthy Patrick Kane, because he is just the most exciting player, and I just really miss watching him play, and I miss everything about him, and it's getting real personal and intimate, so I'm gonna leave it there and not get weird.
Very good. Yeah, pretty weird. You got really in deep and emotional with Patrick Kane. I like it.
So I was hoping.
Man Crush Monday on Sunday.
Do I get a closing statement?
Yes.
All right.
You get one more closing statement.
Here we go.
Oh. Mic noise. Just want to say thanks for sitting on my couch again and saying a bunch of stuff that I don't understand. It's been great. I enjoy editing your words later and cutting out all the things that don't make it to the internet. Sorry, listeners. That's it.
There's some gold.
I don't have any. Yeah, I'll say I'm excited. I'm excited that you guys included
Hey, wait.
Quidditch in the
Let's
podcast.
give Mercer another round of applause for Georgia.
Masters
Steve.
Pick'em Champion. The Masters Pick'em Champion 2015. DJ Matt Mercer. Hit him up on Twitter. Speaking of Twitter, follow us on @sports_OTC1. Give us retweets. Do your thing as a social media member. Always remember that a penny saved is a penny earned. And thank you for giving our podcast a listen. I'm Elijah Campbell. This is Brody Whitaker, and this is Sports on the Couch.
Don't forget to hit up the muffinmanoftn.com to get all your freshest gear. Amen.
Retweet.